The similarities between Old World European and American peoples are vast and difficult to accept as mere coincidence. The use of cement, bricks, arches, and advanced masonry and architecture is found on both sides of the Atlantic, as well as roads, stone and suspension bridges, metallurgy, ore mining of copper, tin, bronze, gold, silver, and iron, sculpture, painting, engraving, agriculture, navigation, large sailing vessels, pottery, glasswork, and music. Both Old and New Worlders fashioned the same weapons like bows and arrows, spears, swords, battle axes, darts and slings. Baptism, confession, penance, all long existed on both continents. Ignatius Donnelly wrote, "If we find on both sides of the Atlantic precisely the same arts, sciences, religious beliefs, habits, customs, and traditions, it is absurd to say that the peoples of the two continents arrived separately, by precisely the same steps, at precisely the same ends." When we consider the resemblance of the civilizations of the Mediterranean nations to one another, no man is silly enough to pretend that Rome, Greece, Egypt, Assyria, Phoenicia, each spontaneously and separately invented the arts, sciences, habits, and opinions in which they agreed. But we proceed to trace out the thread of descent or connection from one to another. Why should a rule of interpretation prevail as between the two sides of the Atlantic, different from that which holds good as to the two sides of the Mediterranean Sea? If, in the one case, similarity of origin has unquestionably produced similarity of arts, customs, and condition, why, in the other, should not similarity of arts, customs, and condition prove similarity of origin? Is there any instance in the world of two peoples, without knowledge of or intercourse with each other, happening upon the same invention, whether that invention be an arrowhead or a steam engine? If it required of mankind a lapse of at least 6,000 years before it began anew the work of invention, and took up the thread of original thought where Atlantis dropped it, what probability is there of 3 or 4 separate nations all advancing at the same speed to precisely the same arts and opinions? The proposition is untenable. If, then, we prove that, on both sides of the Atlantic, civilizations were found substantially identical, we have demonstrated that they must have descended one from the other, or have radiated from some common source. Stubborn Egyptologists, anthropologists, and our government textbooks also claim that the ancient Egyptian, Sumerian, and Babylonian cultures all somehow started at the height of their civilization and rapidly devolved as their empires fell. This is standard accepted fact, but how is it possible that such advanced cultures just magically appeared at the beginning of recorded history?